podcast about people making the world a better place.
I wanted to ask Kelly a few questions, and I wasn't sure if I was allowed to, so I.
we snuck it in before you got here.
Oh, yeah? What were the questions?
I can't tell you.
Yeah.
I guess this give me something to think about 3 a.m. All right, that's good.
Yeah. You can decide where your mind goes, and that'll teach you about yourself.
That's a good question. Can we decide where our mind goes?
That is a good question. I think we can to a certain degree. I think it's more interesting to just notice where our mind goes naturally before we, and then if we need to decide, we can make that choice. If it's if it's dangerous, some people that get depressed need to shift their mind.
Where does Kellyanne's mind go?
Yes.
Where does my mind go? Right now, where my mind is I got to
be honest. Don't give us any bullshit either.
We got our bullshit barometers out.
Yeah.
No, like right now, self-discipline. I'm really a lot on self-discipline, and I believe we are what we think, we are what we eat, sort of thing. And so that's where basically my main focuses are my diet and my thoughts.
No. The truth. Come on.
No, that is the truth. That is the truth. It's like, what is my purpose? How can I serve others?
Yeah. How can yada.
Doctor, your name has changed, and also you're muted.
Hozey C. Brooklyn.
Life is good.
Ouch.
Change your name to Dr. Hozey. Let's make believe you're a doctor again. All right.
That'll work.
There you go.
Yeah. Kellyanne's a pilot. Yeah.
So back at the farm, I obviously missed something. Where's the fun going?
They were talking. The girls were talking amongst themselves.
In private.
I hope you.
Yeah, we muted him.
That's cool. So.
All right. So, do you have any questions before we get, tossed out again for our esteemed guest, Maggie Moor?
Yeah, Maggie, what is the most interesting thing that you've worked on lately?
Well, presently I am training for a fitness competition for Friday. I've been doing that since 2014. So the process of training for a show is always a little bit different, just depending on where your body's at, and it's really a psychological expedition as well, just keeping focused, disciplined, whatever else is going on in your life. Simultaneous to that, I've been working on a pilot for a fiction novel that I wrote called Skinless, right here.
Ooh.
Of a young woman who leaves home at 16 years old, suffering from PTSD, comes back to New York a few years later after hitchhiking around the country, and is pursuing her dream of being a singer-songwriter. And in that process, she kind of gets into the underbelly world of Manhattan's sex, drugs, and rock and roll scene, and her way while PTSD. So, has to really get to know herself in this wild world. So I wrote the book. It was published in 2021, and now I'm working on a TV pilot for that. So the fitness competition is the way to blow off steam throughout the process.
Well, you're definitely got some huge projects going on. Like, can you just run through a little bit, like obviously you need a lot of self-discipline for what you're doing right now if you're getting ready for a competition. So what is your morning routine, for an example, that you do to get you in the zone for your day?
My favorite way to start the day is get to the gym right away and get the cardio done, because I do about 60 to 75 minutes of cardio every day right now because I'm in the and so if I can get, up around 7:15, get to the gym by 8, I do a whole routine of apple cider vinegar and branched chain amino acids and carnitine and citrulline, which are specific branched chain amino acids that I take an extra supplement of, and then a whole array of different vitamins, and a little bit of food to soak all of that up, obviously.
Yeah.
And then get to the gym, get on the cardio. It's just get my mind focused, real present. It clears everything out, and it also gives me an opportunity to kind of think through the rest of the day while I'm in the cardio zone.
Yeah.
Done by around 10, so around 10 I start, checking all my, and watching stocks and everything from 9:30 to 10 on the TV cardio, which hasn't been all that satisfying lately, but Friday was okay. Anyway, so then I'll get onto the emails and get my day going. I have a lot of appointments throughout the day because I'm a therapist. I do mind body wellness. I also book for my therapy practice called I Am.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, I am.
So I have a doctorate in psychoanalysis. So I'm also a wellness
Oh, my God.
therapist. So
How do you do all this? How is this possible?
Actually, if you kind of think it through, it sounds like a lot, but everything's really balanced, So it's like I have a fitness program, I have goals for that, I have a coach for that, and that's sort of my own meditation. It keeps me focused, gives me, a regimen throughout the day, discipline, a routine throughout the day, and then, the wellness work that I do with people is service to others and helping them heal and working obviously in a professional field that also supports me. And the creative work has actually been very healing for me as well, because of the story is very personal to me, clearly. And I'm naturally a creative person. So I just like to kind of get into that world and go into the zone of writing. So I have a coach for that as well, who helps me stay disciplined and focused and asks me the right questions to get me to the next level. So the three, it's a creative, a fitness, and a professional.
Excellent.
That's
Now,
incredible. Yeah.
I see some reviews here. Skinless, a book by Maggie Moor. Goodreads gave it a 4.9 out of 5. What, you couldn't give another half a point, Goodreads?
I think there were a few people that didn't like it. I read like 1 or 2 bad reviews. So hey,
Barnes and Noble, 5 out of 5. So Skinless takes place in New York City at the turn of the millennium. The plot combines elements of gritty TV drama, The Sopranos, Dexter, Ray Donovan, against the backdrop of small-time drug dealing and violence. I like drug dealing and violence. Okay. Skinless tells the story of Charmaine, a female survivor of sex abuse and teenage homelessness. Wow, this is some shit. The reader follows her journey. Oh, sex abuse, teenage homelessness, who was caught in the grip of alcohol addiction. Wow. The reader follows her journey as she struggles to find her identity while trying to make it in the entertainment industry in New York City. She becomes entangled in a web of romance, passion, money, manipulation, and longing for intimacy.
Yeah.
Skinless becomes a strange evocation of the turn of the 21st century in America, the times we live in, and the forces we live by, a real-life portrayal of a world gone off its orbit. Oh, this is nice. Maggie Moore has a voice unlike any I've ever encountered, both hip and illuminating, a voice that lifts the mind to a place it's never been. Kate Lardner, author of Shut Up, He Explained, the memoir of a blacklisted kid. Wow, that's some friggin'. What do you think about that review? Kellyanne, have you ever gotten a review like that for flying a plane?
Absolutely not. They usually, yeah, no, nothing like that. So there is a movie script in the works right now, you're saying?
I'm working on a TV pilot for an episodic. So it would be a limited series of 6 to 8 episodes. If the network, if it does get picked up and the network wanted to do a full 12 episode season to 2 seasons to 3 seasons, I have material for that. But right now I'm working.
Wow.
That's
Wow,
the
that's
whole
incredible.
Wow. Let me ask a question. How long did it take to write Skinless, the book?
question. I wrote it over the course of about 10 years. Now I didn't,
Wow.
it's my first novel, and I started writing it from, third person, she, he, and then I working with Kate Lardner, who wrote a memoir of a blacklisted kid, and she said, "Why don't you try writing it from the I perspective?" And
Wow.
just Goose came out from that, and so much internal dialogue, and sort of it turned into a story where you're following the internal dialogue of the character Charmaine and really feeling all of her feelings and her conflicts with her. So you get a real inside scope to what it's like to have PTSD from sexual and also be in the world trying, on your own as a young girl, trying to make it in the entertainment industry through her internal dialogue.
So is this semi-autobiographical?
It is.
Wow. It takes a lot of courage to tell all these things about yourself. Or, Dr. Hozey, what are the psychological implications? Is it good to give that much information out? Or should we, like my Irish family has done for years, we hide everything? What is better, Dr. Hozey?
I would suggest that if you're in a good grasp of where you are and how you got there, it's a great thing to be able to do. It's the healing, the ability to share, the ability to maybe even help other people understand what they're going through because of something you've been through is a hell of a wonderful thing. But then again, I mean, the reality is in this world, people take information and use it in most screwed up ways. So you are taking a bit more of a risk.
Yeah.
I did have a question. I sort of note that I saw somewhere you did a thesis on coloring outside the lines of sadomasochism
Wow.
and search for identity. Now, did that color the direction in which you took this book at all? Was that something that's been pervasive in your history, or
Great
is that just
question.
recent?
That is the final thesis that I wrote for my doctoral program at the New York and Boston graduate schools for psychoanalysis, and it was nominated for a Gradiva award. So it's really a case study, right?
Wow.
At the end of your 7 years of working with patients in the referral service to get your hours, you are also supposed to develop a final thesis, which is a case study. So I was working with somebody who was experiencing a deep loss of identity, or maybe she never even really developed it, right, through her relationship with her mother. So through the psychoanalytic treatment with me, she started to transfer to me as a buoy of some kind. It could be a mother figure. It could be something that she just clings to hate, to get out her aggression. It can be just something to emulate, to try to understand who she is. It's like a mirror, right? The transference. Over time, she starts to separate and then develop her own sense of identity, right? It's very similar to a child growing up. And within that relationship, which was a 7 to 8 year psychoanalytic that we engaged in, she was also in a relationship with a man who wanted to become a woman, and he started dressing just like she did and started wearing her clothes. And as he went through his transformation, they engaged in a sadomasochistic relationship, and then our transference also mirrored that, so that she could work through all of her feelings. So that's really what that.
Wow. I mean, obviously highly intelligent, and and you know, you wrote a book. You're a singer as well. We'll get into that in a couple of minutes. And you bodybuild. I mean, why? How do you do all this and not explode or something? I don't understand. I can hardly walk down the street some days, it seems. How do you do? Is there a secret?
I think all of us can't walk down the street some days. It's actually, to me, and what I found, and to Dr. Hozey's point, you know, the process of healing from trauma, and on really getting to know oneself, and then finding ways to express and use that to help others, is incredibly painful and disarming, and yet creates a whole level of humility, as well as a developed ability to be with feelings, right? Very difficult feelings. And the only way I've found to survive life, right, is to be able to experience feelings that are difficult to experience. Because otherwise, if we try to defend, deflect, numb out, you know, it comes out sideways. It can be very self-harming. We create all kinds of explosions in our personal lives, and we also get overwhelmed and shut down, right? So for me to kind of get in touch with what I'm feeling, but you know, not like, oh, they're the most important thing in the world. Feelings aren't facts, but just to start to kind of tune into what's going on in my mind, heart, you know, in the morning when I'm getting motivated, you know, getting my day started, and then getting, you know, moving through the day and working with acceptance of whatever those feelings are without needing to express them or think, you know, to tell everybody like, oh, this is what I'm feeling or this is the truth, but just to sort of stay in that flow of like resonance with self, helps me stay energetic.
Well, let me say one more thing before we ask Kellyanne a couple of things.
Yes.
You're obviously very modest and humble. You know, if I was physically fit, which I'm not,
I think you look
well, it's from this size up. So, and if I was this highly intelligent, I would be out in the street like demeaning people and screaming at them how stupid they are. But how do you stay so humble and modest, being so intelligent, so beautiful, such a great singer? And do you actually ever get stalkers beside myself, of course? Do you actually on social media get other stalkers, we should say?
Well, to answer your first part, I don't really think about that. I don't really, when you say all that, I don't feel like, oh, you're talking about me. Oh, yeah, me. You know,
Yeah.
I imagine the thing that pushes me the most is to want to keep growing, right? So I'm not really thinking that I'm better than anybody else. And in fact, I'm not like super famous, and I wasn't on the BET Awards last night, and I don't have a Grammy. You know what I mean? So like I do my thing, and I try to do the best that I can, and I keep moving, you know, and I keep making goals and keep growing. But I don't look at myself like I'm something great. Now, I also at the same time feel kind of sorry for people who do have all of these awards and do think that they're great, because I feel like that blocks them from really feeling other people, feeling themselves, feeling humility, and feeling a part of an interconnected world. They actually think that to think that one's better than everybody else is actually very stifling, right?
So you don't think it's good to feel better than others?
Um, I don't. I think it's good to have a sense of confidence, right? I don't, you know, but to feel one among, and to understand that we can be inspired by everybody. You know, I see homeless people on the street because I live in New York all the time. I say hello, and I kind of watch them day to day because they kind of hang out in the same spots, you know, and I sort of see them grow throughout the day.
Sweet.
Always changing and growing, no matter what. It doesn't matter really where you are in life. We're all like organic beings growing vitally on some level. So I don't have a thing about like being better or worse.
You know, I got to jump in because I'm thinking about the fact that so many of us go through very difficult experiences. I mean, everybody has been through hell, some
Yes.
greater than other. And when we listen to somebody else's story, there's a certain comparison we might go to. But the outcome is either usually that it's fortifying and that you got over it, you conquered and you were able to rebuild and reconstitute, or the victim that got torn to pieces and lives in a shell of what they used to be with no hope. And I mean, in general, I mean, your background, the way, put it this way, Aardvark usually brings in a good group of people with interesting backgrounds, but they're usually individuals. You know, you're like one person with this whole varied background. So, yeah, I also wonder whether time is an issue for you. Is there enough time in the day to get the things done, and do they change and import? Are things that you couldn't do yesterday on your mind because of what you got to do today and that kind of stuff?
It's a good question, because when you have a few different things going on, you need to kind of allot your time to different areas. So because I have this fitness show on Friday, right, the next 72 hours, I'm also working with patients and staying kind of in the creative mode, but I'm not sitting down and working on my script right now. You know what I mean? Right now, like, I go to the gym twice a day and I need to rest. I need to sleep. I need to drink water. You know what I mean? So everything sort of takes its precedence in different ways at different times, depending on what the deadlines are and but everything's sort of cooking in different pots. But I try not to add any more. I don't think we want to add more. So that would, but
What do you think, Kellyanne?
I'm blown away. Maggie, do you feel that you're a bit of a risk taker?
that's a good question too. I don't look at myself that way, though. I think publishing a novel like I did is kind of risky, like I said. I didn't think about it as such, it drove me, like, it wanted to be written. I've looked at it because since I am a psychoanalyst, I sort of objectively look at myself too. And I'm like, was that to get attention? Is that to, hurt people? And I don't feel that, like that I was vicious to present people and needed to get my story out, nor do I feel like trying to hurt myself, because it could be self-sabotage. I look at it from different perspectives. I don't have all the answers to life. That's sort of the truth of it all, of life, right? We never really know why we do everything we do or what's next. But I think I suppose other people may look at me as a risk taker. I think you're probably considered a risk taker as a person who flies planes, maybe more so than I'm not actually putting myself physically at that much risk.
Well, you see, I decided to fly planes because I was so terrified of planes. And once I was able to get over that fear, and how I got over it was because I started recording, and I love being up in the air. And I just thought, oh my God, this is amazing. And then flying just seemed to be the best next thing. It's like I guess I'm a risk taker, but I'm trying to find some purpose of it all in the end. It's going to be kind of like my retirement job. So it's going to take a while before I actually get my license, but it's I get what you're saying. Like, you don't have all the answers, but it's calling you, sort of thing. Yeah.
All right. Kellyanne has a section of the show called Kelly's Questions. Yeah, I'll do the graphics. So Kellyanne will ask a couple of questions or something, and nothing too, stressful, I guess. Kellyanne.
Okay, my first question is, I love the outfit you're wearing, and I was wondering, where did you get your outfit?
Are you asking me?
Yes, I'm asking you, Maggie.
She's not asking me, that's for sure.
I like Dr. Hozey. I see green there.
Dr. Hozey's stylish. Yeah.
Yes. This is a black, like, just a little velvet dress that like goes down to my knees. Like, probably hard to see, but it's comfortable. And I think where I got it, I think I actually made it. I received it in the mail from some order that and then it had like sleeves and all this stuff, and I like cut it and like had them fix it so that I could just wear it. Well, to be honest.
Okay.
What time are you doing surgery tomorrow? Because come on, you did that too. I'm sorry, Kelly. Go ahead.
Okay. My second question is, what was your first job?
Oh,
My very first, I started dance classes when I was in junior high school.
Mhm.
To pay for the classes that I was in, I assistant taught. So I suppose that was more of a trade, right? But I worked, 12 hours with the children's dance classes, and then I trained the other 12 hours, and these were after school, right? So that was like my first job. And then I guess I had a job in a pizza place, like when I was 14, dough. And then if you're asking like post like 18 years old, then I started working in nightclubs, and I was a waitress, a bartender, and all of that because I was in acting school and I was pursuing my music, and so that kind of job is flexible, and I did that for a while. So
Wow. Okay, my final question is I know you have a competition coming up, so let's not say that. But what is your next exciting event that you have coming up?
that's such a nice, I like that question. I don't have any like thing exactly set yet, right? So I'm waiting for the competition to be over. Then it's 4th of July weekend. I have plans to go to a lobster bake.
Oh, that sounds like so much fun.
Yeah.
Lobster bake.
Considering a trip to Africa with Jen Grisanti, who's my writing coach, and Eve Harris, who lives down in Johannesburg, and it's a writing group that's going to do a writing retreat, but also safari for 6 days in the end of September. So I haven't actually said yes to that, but that's sort of on my horizons, like the next fun, exciting thing to do as I'm finishing the pilot, because then I'll get to practice pitching it and meeting the other industry people that join the safari. So
wow.
Wow, that's incredible. You're a busy person, definitely.
thank you for asking.
Yeah. So you actually, it keeps coming into my head. You talk about your coaches, and obviously you have some great mentors in your life. Are you a coach, or do you mentor people?
I do. It in different areas for wellness. I mean, I'm a therapist, a mind body, right? So I teach meditation, self-awareness, sensorial awareness to calm anxiety. It's just a calming anxiety. So, but as just a service that is a professional, exchange that's just for service. I also coach young women who are getting sober.
Oh, that's great. Wow, wonderful. We're
Getting
going to get
so
booted out of this room in a minute.
getting sober from what?
Alcohol, drugs.
Oh,
I first for a while with the inmate, the women there who
oh, I guess that's a nice thing, right?
got abuse, because I thought it was an important aspect to partly how they ended up there, even though of it was, obviously arrests for criminal behavior, but a lot of times it's from childhood abuse. So I created
Oh,
a a counseling group at Rikers, so that kind of got me started in mentoring young women. But that's the thing that I like charge money for. That just do that for a service.
If I can ask you real quick, the concept of I mean, mind and body union. I mean, that sounds so deep. It sounds like there are so many facets to that. Is that a mainstay in your therapy, and is that the goal of the therapy, as it were?
Yeah, the goal is to learn techniques to calm anxiety, because in my sensibilities, that anxiety is the leading cause of all kinds of other issues, right? So the more that we can become aware of triggers and experiences of anxiety in the body, the calmer our mind can be, and the more clearly we can focus. So the mind body approach is through experiencing your body sensations more deeply and being able to live in a world of presence, and it's mindfulness.
all right. Thank you, everyone. Good luck in the competition. I expect a gold medal.
I know, I hope so, but we'll see. But thank you, Aardvark, for having me. Thank you, Hello Hooray Productions, for having me. Thank you for Dr. Jose and Kelly Ann for joining and asking
She's
such
so
great
humble.
questions. And thank you, Andrew, for reaching out to me. It's really an honor to be here today, and I really appreciate all of you. And I'll definitely post the link all over and tag you all, and
Perfect.
have a good time on the internet
Thank
together.
you.
Well,
Thank you.
you're a
All right.
pleasure to
Bye, everyone. Thanks, Teddy.
Thank
Stay
you,
strong.
Teddy. Thanks, everyone, for being
Bye.
here.